Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. I have been solving math problems, or to be more precise, the data sufficiency problem for GMAT out of this book here, GMAT Review, the official guide, 12th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. This is what you need to practice for the real exam. If you want to practice for the real exam, practice the real exam. Don't. Anyway, enough said. I'm sure everything else on the market is great and wonderful, but this is what I use. The problem that I'm about to solve is the one that you're going to find on page number 273, data sufficiency number 12. Let's take a look at it. Since this is a data sufficiency problem, the very first thing we do is write down AD, BCE. AD, BCE. Get in the habit. The question simply is, if I and J are integers, I and J are integers. We are told that they are integers, they are whole numbers. Whole numbers. The question is their sum? Is their sum an even integer? That's what we have to answer. Is when we add them up, is the sum even integer? If I tell you that I is a whole number and j is a whole number, is their sum going to be an even integer? Without knowing anything about I and j, we can't really tell. Who knows what they are? Let's see what the first statement tells us. First statement tells us that I is less than 10. I is less than 10. I'm going to have a little fun with you. What I want you to do now is pause the clip and tell me how many possible values of I are, how many possible values can I assume? Okay, I know it's nothing to do with the problem here. I just want to know how many possible values can I have. We know it's a whole number and we know it has to be less than 10. So what is it going to be? 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, count, pause the thing and then come back after you have the answer and we'll go from there, okay? I hope you did as I told you, to pause the clip, think about it, and how many values do you think I would have? If you told me 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, if you told me 9, you were way off. The correct answer is infinite amount of possibilities. I can assume infinite different values because you forgot negatives. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, they are all integers, they are whole numbers. So that's one problem here. We do not know what I is. Simply telling me that I is less than 10 does not help me at all in answering whether or not this sum is going to be even. The second problem we have is that even if we did have more information about I, even if it did have more precise information about I, it's still this statement by itself is worthless because I cannot tell you if the sum is even without actually knowing anything about j. I have to know about j also. So the first statement by itself is no good. It's worthless. It doesn't tell us, it does not answer the question if the sum of I and j is an even integer. So if the first statement does not work, that tells me that the answer cannot be A or D. The correct answer, whatever it is, has to be either B, C or E. Either the second statement by itself is going to be enough, which we will find out in a second, or putting them together, C stands for both, Perhaps putting the statement 1 and the statement together would be enough to answer this question, whether or not this sum is an even integer. Or it might turn out that neither of these two statements are any good. Well, I'm pointing at something, but it's not there. First statement we know is not enough. If it turns out the second statement is not enough also, then the answer will be E. Let's take a look at it. Second statement tells me that I equals J. Oh, this is interesting. This is interesting. And again, people in their haste might end up saying, well, how is that going to answer whether or not their sum is even? Well, it's very easy. It's very simple. Make up numbers. Make up any number at all. And what you'll find is that, the sum, S-U-M, sum of two even number is even. Of course, sum of two even numbers is even, because if I equals J, then maybe it is 2 equals 2. And if 2 equals 2, then 2 plus 2 is 4, which is also even. And we also know the sum of an odd, sum of two even number is even, and sum of an odd number and an even number is also even. Sum of an odd number and an even number. For example, 3 plus 2. No, that's not what I meant to say. This is all wrong. Pretend you never heard it, okay? Besides, it doesn't even make any sense because we couldn't possibly be talking about sum of an odd number and an even number, because if we did have an odd number and an even number, they wouldn't be equal to each other. I wasn't thinking. It's too late. We know the sum of two even numbers is even, and also the sum of two odd numbers is even. If you have two odd numbers, 3 plus 3 is even, 7 plus 7 is even, negative 5 plus negative 5 is even. You see, that will give me negative 10, and that's an even number. So if you tell me that I have two numbers which equal to each other, that's what they're telling us here, that we have two numbers which equal to each other, then by definition, either both of them are even or both of them are odd. There are no other possibilities. Either they're both even or they're both odd, because we know that they are integers there. Therefore, if they are both odd, then odd plus odd is also even. And if they happen to be even, then of course even plus even is even. So this statement is enough to answer the questions whether or not their sum is even. Their sum, whatever it is, has to be an even number, because you'll be adding either the two odd numbers or two even numbers. And that's all there is. That's all there is. Therefore the answer is, since second statement by itself works, the answer is B. That's all. I hope you found it helpful. If you wish to get hold of me for personal private tutoring, I do face-to-face tutoring, private tutoring. I also tutor over the telephone, and I also tutor over the internet through Skype. If there is anything that I can help you with, not just this aspect of it, not just the data sufficiency, but I do the entire exam, also GRE and SAT and so forth. If there is anything that I can help you with any aspect of the exam, go to my website at www.for4gmat.com and send me an email. Or you can go to www.keshwaniprep.com and send me an email. Alright? Thanks.